So this is video number 4. It's been a little while since my last one. So today I thought I would talk about discipline and freedom and how those are related. My wife and I have been talking about this kind of stuff lately, so I just thought it was good to share in a video. So I don't know if you guys have heard of Jocko Willink. He's a former Navy SEAL. I'm not sure on what his services are. It's like some sort of team building. It's not like a motivational speaker, but more like a team building communication exercise for corporate offices. I think he helps corporate offices build better teams and puts them through exercises and kind of helps them plan and schedule stuff, I think. Anyway, Jocko, he said this thing that was pretty interesting where he was talking about discipline and how it's kind of counterintuitive because obviously Navy SEALs have to be very disciplined, they have to exercise a lot and learn a lot of different skills. And he said that a lot of people think of discipline as something that takes away your freedom because now you're beholden to a schedule or you have all these things you have to do on a consistent basis and you're not free to just kind of do as you will. And he was saying that's actually the opposite because the more disciplined you are, the more you're free because you are basically deciding what you do. Whereas beforehand, it's almost like you're passive. If you're not controlling your schedule, if you're not disciplined, things happen to you. You don't make things happen. So if you're disciplined, an example would be, you want more free time? Get up earlier. Simple as that. So that's something where you can take control and exercise a discipline to actually give yourself more freedom. And that extends to all kinds of things. If you want to learn a new skill, if you're disciplined, you can acquire that. You can learn a skill, you can practice the skill, and you can master the skill. And having that skill is a form of freedom. Like it's something you've granted to yourself instead of just being passive all the time. Because you'll never grow if you don't have any discipline. You'll just kind of sit there and let things happen to you and, I don't know, kind of complain. If you're always seeking comfort, then you're probably not going to get much done, or you're probably not going to accomplish much in your life, and then you're going to be sad and resentful and kind of regret things you didn't do. So that leads me to what you want. A lot of people, I think, and myself, I'm guilty of this too, you don't want discipline. Instinctually, you kind of don't want discipline because you don't want to be told what to do. You don't want to be stuck in a pattern. You don't want to be beholden to a schedule. You want to be totally free. You want to totally be able to do whatever you want and not have to think about any responsibility. People don't want responsibility. But truth be told, everything you want, everything you actually want in the long term, you have to do things you don't want to do to get those things you do want in the long run. So to get what you want, you have to do some things you don't want. And that's kind of what discipline is about. And I was thinking of it last night, and it occurred to me as this sort of stacking accruement of pleasure that you get from the things you do. And that kind of ties into some ideas I was thinking about contrast. So, people say you wouldn't appreciate a sunny day without a rainy day. There's no good without the bad. And I think that's largely true because that factors into your perspective. That's why a lot of the wealthy people with these trust fund kids are all spoiled and shitty. It's because you don't have any perspective or contrast. You can't appreciate something if you don't have a point of reference in the opposite direction. How do you have a good day if you've never had a bad day? You just don't have any perspective on that contrast. So in that same vein, if you want something, you have to do what you don't want to do it, but then that will stack in your favor. So for example, I want to be more fit. I want to be healthier, I want to lose some weight, I want to have more energy, and I want to be stronger. I want to have more control over my own body. And I want my body to be able to do what I want it to do instead of being limited by aches and pains or weakness or limited mobility or anything like that. So that's something I want. I don't want to work out. It sucks. It's painful. You have to do movements that are stressful. That's the whole point. You're stressing your body to force growth. But you have to do that. And if you can have a good perspective when you're in that moment of pain, that you are doing something that in the long run you actually want to do, Like, I don't want my muscles to hurt, but I do want to be stronger. So when I'm working out, if my whole perspective is built around, like, I am doing what I want right now, I'm exercising so I can be stronger, I am accomplishing something I want, then you will make farther gains in those directions, and then they will start to stack in your favor. If I keep exercising, I will keep getting stronger and having better endurance and having more energy. So I will eventually start to reap those rewards. I will feel better. So now I have that to fall back on as I'm engaging in the painful part of it. So as I'm engaging in more pain on myself, I'm already enjoying some pleasure from having a stronger, more healthy body. And that will continue to stack. And if you do this long enough, you'll have more things stacking in your favor. I don't want to get up early because I like sleeping in. But there are things I want to get done, and I want more time in my day to do them, so that when I do all the things I don't want to do, I then have free time to play video games or, do stuff I do want to do. So as I work on those things, I'm still having to get up earlier than I'd like, but let's say I get 4 things done before I have to go to work in the morning. After a while, those 4 things that I'm consistent on are starting to yield fruit. Like, I've completed a project I was trying to do, or I'm getting better at a skill that I'm practicing. So now I've completed a project, I'm better at this skill, and now it's a 2-for-1 deal. All I had to do was get up a little earlier, and now I have 2 things to be happy about, 2 things I want. And if you keep doing that, you'll keep getting more and more results and more things that you want. And I think very quickly those overtake the things you don't want to do. And the things you don't want to do, you just kind of get used to. Humans are pretty adaptable, and if you make something new normal, you won't really feel the pain as much. So now, in this hypothetical situation, I have like a bunch of new skills, I've got a bunch more time in my day, I've accomplished a lot, and I'm more fit, and I'm more wealthy, and all these things, and really all it costs me is having to put myself through some pain every day, do my exercise, and, I have to get up early. And, it's not that great of a sacrifice in the long run. And, let me look at my notes here, kind of losing the plot here. Obviously that takes some balance. You don't want to be a workaholic and just deny yourself everything with the promise of the future being pleasurable. You do want to enjoy the now. But that's what I was saying with, as the stacking of the successes start to turn in your favor. I think the more disciplined you are, the more you'll get done, and the more you'll get used to those disciplines. People talk about just building good habits, and while that becomes less painful, you'll continue to gain the same, if not more, pleasurable benefits. You'll start to get more of what you want, and you'll start doing what feels like less of what you don't want, until eventually you're basically just, everything you do is something you want to do because you've built your life that way. You were disciplined in the beginning, so now you have strong financial habits, and then you have strong finances. You exercise regularly, so you have a strong body. You meditate, so you have a strong mind. And you educate yourself, so you're constantly learning new skills, and you're probably advancing your career, or whatever it is. I think you guys get the idea. So I think that's most of it. Is try and focus on discipline as something that helps you instead of something to be scared of. I think fear plays into it too. You don't want to fail. You don't want to set up a bunch of goals and a bunch of plans and then just fail. Like a bunch of people that get into these workout habits or diets or something, and they have an off week or an off day, and then they just kind of give up and they go back to their old self, instead of just kind of admitting that you're gonna have bad days, you're gonna fuck up, you're gonna fall off whatever you plan to do. So just get back to it. You can have weak days. Again, go back to Jocko Willink and pretty much every fitness person I've ever heard of, and it applies to business and goal setting in general. Most of what you want to do in life is just about showing up. You don't even have to be into it. I've found that with my artwork. If I set up a time where I'm I'm going to do a 10-minute warm-up painting, I set the clock for 10 minutes and I just copy a photo and I try and paint it. I only have 10 minutes and it's I don't want to do it, but if I just make myself sit down, once I get into it, 2 minutes in, I'm oh, this is kind of fun, and then after the 10 minutes are up, I'm oh, it's already over, and then I'm actually in the mood to do a bunch more artwork. And so it's really just about showing up. My wife is always saying how she's getting ahead at work because other people just keep dropping the ball, and she's not even like going like crazy to do a bunch of extra work. People just notice her because she showed up. That's it. It's like, you're here and you're consistent and you're dependable, and that's all it takes. A good mantra is consistency over intensity. So if you don't feel like doing something today, if you don't want to practice your skill, like maybe you're a musician or an artist, or you don't want to exercise, you don't want to get up early, it's like just get into it. Just start. And something's better than nothing. And you could try again tomorrow. And that's what consistency over intensity is about. Like, you will get farther doing a little bit every day than if you just like kick the shit out of yourself every other day. Like, if you work out 3 days a week and you just kill yourself every workout, you're gonna have to recover a lot longer, and you're gonna actually spend less time overall throughout the week engaging in that practice, developing your body and strength or a skill set or whatever your exercises are, than if you just did like a half hour every day, 5 days a week. You would get more out of it, and your body would acclimate more gently because you're not killing yourself while doing it. So I guess that's what the takeaway should be from this video. Consistency over intensity. Set some goals. Don't be afraid of failure. And try and be disciplined and be forgiving of yourself. Find a balance. Don't be a workaholic, but don't be lazy. Don't just do all the things you want to do in the moment, in the short term. Find things that you want in the long term, and then work your way backwards to what you need to do today to get there, and then just do a little bit every day. It's just as simple as that. And I struggle with that constantly. And so I'm trying to be better. I've got a whole schedule set up for something to do daily, and I got a new job. So I've got a consistent schedule now that I can plan around, and hopefully I'll start making progress. I'll keep you guys updated. If you guys want to follow me and see the results of my discipline, you can follow me on Instagram at BenTheEvilClown. I'll put the link in the description. I'm also thinking about trying out this website, Behance. I think it's how it's pronounced. It's this website for artists. I don't know how it works, but I'm going to try and start monetizing my art a bit more. So I'll start trying to get into that. You guys can maybe find me there. And I think that's it for today. I'll get back to you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.